long for this moment right here. College football is about to kick off. In Louisville, Kentucky, they're as excited as anybody. It's kind of like the anticipation that builds for the Kentucky Derby. You know, Churchill Downs is just a few blocks away. And come to think of it, this big tunnel that the Cardinals will run out of in just a few moments, it's a lot like those starting gates at Churchill Downs. Are you ready? Yeah. Let's do it. It is now host time. Woo! Let's do it.
It is post time, and it's opening night in the ACC. The 19th ranked Louisville Cardinals take the field. It's the ACC kickoff, and they're in the race to win the ACC, and it all starts tonight here from Papa John's Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky. The first ever meeting between the Charlotte 49ers and the 19th ranked Louisville Cardinals. Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Devin alongside James Bates. Man, you got up here in a hurry. You're all pumped up, and who wouldn't be? It's opening night in the ACC.
Yeah, packed house here, and they're excited because this is a Louisville team, top 20 team, that's really coming off a tear at the end of last year after dropping their first 3 games. They've got a great quarterback. They've got some horses out there on the defensive side of the ball. The Kentucky headhunters, if you will. Some Clydesdales as well, not just thoroughbreds.
Well, they did win 8 of their last 9, and in fact won their bowl game as well. And when you look at this team, you think about their quarterback, the hardy star to watch, and it's a sophomore, Lamar Jackson.
Wow, everybody in town is excited to see what number 8 has got from the giddy up here tonight. He did so many great things last year, but he admitted, Bobby Petrino, his head coach, admitted, hey, a lot of times he wasn't sure what was going on out there. He said it felt like the coaches were speaking a foreign language. Now, Bobby Petrino asked a lot of his quarterbacks. You know, he didn't become one of the greatest minds, offensive minds in ball by just kind of accepting mediocrity. He's got him ready to play from the shoulders up, and that's really scary for opponents.
Well, no doubt about it. Now, this is the Charlotte 49ers team arriving here, taking on a ranked opponent for the very first time. This is their second season in the FBS. They do have a familiar name at quarterback in Kevin Olsen. His older brother, Greg Olsen, is a tight end for the Carolina Panthers. And, of course, Kevin Olsen is well-traveled. He's ready to go tonight.
Yeah, not quite the same situation that you've got for the hometown team. This guy grew up around ball. A coach's son, played for his dad in high school. But it was those high school snaps. You know, that's 2013. He played at Riverside City College last year. Bounced around a little bit. You got to think that he's mature on and off the field. We know that. And he can hit all the spots. Finally, the 49ers, they've got themselves a quarterback. And he's got a lot of experienced guys around him to help out.
Well, we talked about that quarterback in Lamar Jackson. You mentioned their defense, and certainly it's a stout defense. And with more on that, we send it down to the third member of our broadcast team, Jen Hildreth. Jen?
Well, guys, for the last couple of years, this Louisville defense is ranked in the top 20 nationally. They've ranked number 2 nationally in interceptions over that span, and they are loaded at every level. You got to start up front with a big guy. This may be one of, if not the strongest man in college football. Big 6'1", 310 D'Angelo Brown coming at you. Hello. And how about an all-ACC pair of linebackers and Keith Kelsey, Devontae Fields. Fields number 1 in the country and tackles for loss per game a year ago. But it is this guy right here, Keith Kelsey, who runs this defense. According to defensive coordinator Todd Grantham, he is the leader, the glue, the guy that gets them going every time. And guess who he walked out with, fellas? None other than Lamar Jackson, getting him ready to go for the Cardinals.
Bobby Petrino, the head coach for the Louisville Cardinals, 58-18 in his 7th season here in Louisville. His 3rd season back. And Louisville won the toss, and they will receive. They end up bringing it up to the 25 before being stopped. Is Seth Dawkins, the true freshman from Columbus, Ohio. And here comes Lamar Jackson over his last 2 games 2015, impressive not only in the air, but certainly, as you know, on the ground.
Well, ask and ye shall receive. You want to see Lamar Jackson win the toss? Let's get on offense and let's get them going. A captain, Matt, equally impressive, a captain as a sophomore.
Jackson under pressure, looks downfield. He'll tuck it and run from the 25, and he is hit hard just shy of the 35-yard line. Daquan Lucas comes in a 9-yard pickup.
Well, here you see right at the beginning of that clip there, it was Lucas who's got to break down, and you've got to take advantage. He had a clean shot on a very tough guy to bring down, but when you've got your opportunities, Charlotte, you've got to drop them. You can't let what should have been a 4-yard loss turn into a 9-yard gain.
Jackson to the air, and he finds Staples. Jamari Staples is senior. And it's going to be a first down. Here's our Toyota impact players on the Louisville offense.
Well, and Brandon Radcliff, because they have to run the football at Louisville all year long. Yeah, they're going to throw it around, and of course Lamar Jackson's going to run it, but Radcliff has got to be big for him this year, and of course Jamari Staples.
5-yard penalty, first down. 5-yard penalty. Dron Christian, the left tackle. A sophomore from Ocala, Florida. And it's going to be 1st and 15 now from the 35. Lamar Jackson, pump fake. Flushed out of the pocket. He'll tuck it and run once again at the 40, 45, to midfield and into 49ers territory before the redshirt freshman A.J. McDonald comes in on the stop after a 16-yard gain.
Gosh, Matt, again, they get some push, but it's just one guy. You've got nobody else with any pressure, and you don't see it at the very end. The guy that's making the tackle was being blocked the whole time by Jamari Staples. How does Lamar Jackson break those big old runs like he did against Texas A&M in the Music City Bowl last year? Guys blocking downfield for him.
The pitch to Brandon Radcliff. Radcliff, the two-time captain of the Cardinals, on the run as Daquan Lucas comes in on the stop. An impressive opening drive thus far. And the Toyota impact players on the defense for the Niners.
Well, 65, Ogunjobi, he's been there the whole way through. One of 19 fifth-year seniors on this squad that started this thing.
Lamar Jackson will keep it and gets to the edge before he is pushed out of bounds by Carrington King, the redshirt junior from Charlotte.
You know, Matt, the other guy that I had on there was A.J. McDonald. There he is, a redshirt freshman at safety, and he's so important. He really came on, had a great spring practice, the coaches said, a nice surprise. He's so important because, yeah, Lamar Jackson's going to have his 10-yarders, his 11-yarders, but you can't let him have 60 and 70-yarders. The big plays will kill you, and those safeties, they've got to be crisp in the open field.
Jackson, 20 to the 10. He sees the end zone and a touchdown for the Ville. 36-yard touchdown run for the dynamic Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, 36 yards. On a keeper.
Well, right on cue. This is a quarterback run the whole way, and you see the guy trailing right there, 41. That's the player to watch, and player to watch because he's got to make that tackle. It didn't look like he missed the tackle because his angle was wrong. Yet Lamar Jackson is a very speedy guy, Matt. You can't take bad angles on number 8 or he'll make you pay like he does right here. Lamar Jackson. Woo! I am for real.
It's a MLB.
ACC football is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. CPI Security. And by Blue Cross Blue Shield of North Carolina. We have a plan that's right for you. 7-0. The Ville Lamar Jackson, a 36-yard touchdown run. And certainly impressive to open things up for Bobby Petrino. One pass, that was to Jamari Staples, who did a great job downfield on a block on that run by Lamar Jackson. 75 yards. And on the kickoff, Chris Montgomery takes it in. He is hit hard. And from the 20, Kevin Olsen will go to work.
Matt, here's a look at the touchdown run one more time. Guys, go ahead and pause it right now. Okay, here's A.J. McDonald. He's got to have outside leverage because all of his help is in here with his buddies. He's kind of stepping up in there, taking the wrong angle, lets him get outside, and boom, look at Jamari Staples down the field. You think he's excited to be back out there. Remember, early last year, he was hurt. Took him a while to get on the field before he did all his damage. 6'4", 195-pounder. They call him Unk, the old man around here getting it done.
A handoff to Phillips. And that is the senior, Khalif Phillips, on the handoff. And he is hit by Josh Harvey Clemens, who had 88 tackles a season ago for the Cardinals. There's Kevin Olsen, the junior from Wayne, New Jersey, and was redshirted at Miami, dismissed, went to Towson, dismissed there, and last season played for Riverside City College. And he is a big-time quarterback that they're hoping will settle in here in Charlotte.
Well, Matt, just as we talked about Bobby Petrino asking a lot of his quarterbacks, Jeff Mullen, the offensive coordinator, Brad Lambert, the head coach, when you're trying to go this fast, you got a lot on your plate, and here's a guy jumping off sides, a free play.
De'Ajon Richardson was jumping off sides, and the pass to T.L. Ford II is out of bounds.
Offside. Defense. Number 90. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Well, this is big, too. The first two plays, positive yardage. It was 3rd and short anyway. And they go ahead with the free play. Not sure exactly where they would have looked at. But a free first down, give that defense a breather, a chance to talk it up. What went wrong there on the first series. And when you go this fast, goes without saying, that defense, if you go 3 and out, they're going to get gassed before too long.
1st and 10, and to the air to the near side, and it is caught by Warape Kofa. The Toyota Impact players on the offense for the 49ers.
Well, Khalif Phillips, a senior, we saw him on the first carry of the game. Here he comes again. Again, nice positive yardage in this offense. These backs, Phillips, Johnson, LeMay, and Washington, a couple young guys that really have promising futures. You got to hit it and get downhill right now. And Big Jamal Covington, the left tackle, 305-pounder. Best offensive lineman up there. And here's another 3rd down. This one a little bit longer, 3rd and medium, now at 5.
3rd and 5 now for the 49ers. 3 wide receivers at the top of your screen. Olsen out of the shotgun. To the near side and deep, and he overthrows his intended target of Kofa. And it's going to bring up 4th down now for the 49ers.
There you go defensively. There's Kofa working on Jair Alexander, and ball a little bit too deep, but good coverage nonetheless by number 10. So here comes 4th down and Arthur Hart.
The junior from Wisconsin, a high snap, and back is Jair Alexander at the 15. He's going to let this one bounce and all the way into the end zone, unable to track it down are the 49ers. And with 10:09 here in the first quarter, the 19th ranked Louisville Cardinals lead 7-0. Johnny U, a great quarterback for the Cardinals from 1951 to 54. Lamar Jackson, the sophomore from Pompano Beach, Florida. 5 runs, James, in that opening drive. 4 by Lamar Jackson. Of course, this one for the touchdown.
Good blocking down the field again. Jamari Staples, those guys. One thing you've got to do with Lamar Jackson, and one thing we haven't seen here still early in this season and early in this game is everybody in that building here at Papa John Cardinal Stadium talks about the accuracy and the strength of his arm. He can throw the deep ball, Bobby Petrino says, as good as anybody. He doesn't really look like that kind of big gunslinger type of guy, though, does he? He's a little bit thin.
6'3", 204. Jackson to the air, and he nails Keith Tobridge, and it's going to be a first down. The senior from Toledo, Ohio. There is a flag down.
Downfield, number 61, 5-yard penalty.
And it's going to be a 5-yard penalty on the senior captain center. That's the third already. Hughley. And center. That's going to back him up. 1st and 15 now for Lamar Jackson.
That was an intermediate ball, but that was a pretty ball.
Yes.
nice throw there. All for naught.
He struggled last season with his accuracy, but it is much improved, trying to create there, trying to get back up to the 20. He stopped at the 18 by the senior from Gaffney, South Carolina, Justin Bridges Thompson.
And there you see Bridges Thompson, who finally drops him. Boom. Again, when you've got a chance on him, you've got to rush that upfield shoulder. You've got to pin him in. These guys are coming free, but he's so elusive. You got to motor it down and just chop those feet and bend.
2nd and 13 down the middle of the field. And he overthrows Reggie Bonnafon. A former quarterback and a running back. And the forward keys to the game.
Oh, Wilbur, Charlotte's Web hasn't been very good on Lamar Jackson so far. That's what you needed to do defensively, is put that web out there and hem up Jackson. First series a little bit rough, and let it loose, Louisville, which is one thing they've done as well. You know, it's time to go play some ball and just let the excitement show.
Jackson under pressure, and he'll throw it away toward the sideline of the 49ers.
There is no intention of running on the
Larry Ogunjobi, along with Nick Cook, were right there on the scene.
Well, I'm telling you, Matt, that first down that the offense got for Charlotte, it gave them 5 extra minutes out there to catch their breath. Hey, listen, you know, this is year 2 of an FBS schedule for Charlotte. Very young program. Guys, we've got some players. Let's, remember what we're here for. Remember this and this and this, and let's do it. And they do a lot better job getting off the field.
Austin Duke is back at midfield, and he gets hammered there at the 48-yard line. A 34-yard punt from Mason King, the redshirt freshman from right here in Louisville. 7-0. 19th ranked Cardinals lead the 49ers.
It's the final days.
Yeah, I'm really excited for them. I think it's going to be a great opportunity. Obviously, it's a huge challenge for them, but what a great chance for a young program and a young group of guys to see where they're at. Go down, play in a pretty hostile environment. I've played down in Louisville before, and it's a pretty great environment. So to play a night game, open their season, I'm happy for them. I hope they go out and play hard and let the chips fall where they may.
Well, he has a wonderful support group around him. His brother there in Charlotte as well as his older brother, Chris Jr. His parents live in Lake Norman. And Brad Lambert, James told us, he said he's exceeded expectations.
How about the year Big Brother and those Panthers had last year? Man, he's
big time. Olsen to the air. And it is broken up. The pass was intended to Austin Duke, and broken up by Cannon.
Thrown just a little bit behind the top receiver this bunch, Austin Duke. Oh, man.
And 2nd down, and skids out of bounds.
It was good to throw it away, but I thought for a second it was going back behind the line of scrimmage, or throwing backwards rather. Here's D'Angelo Brantoy to impact players. That big defensive tackle, boy, is he a load. The captain in the middle, 310-pound senior, and of course Josh Harvey Clemens. right up the middle is where this Louisville Cardinal Kentucky headhunter defense, I'm going to keep saying it until somebody catches on and sticks. This is where they're their strongest. And watch out. We haven't seen a blitz yet from Todd Grantham. He loves to dial it up. That's how they force all those interceptions. It's 3rd and long.
Over the last 2 seasons, they forced 56 turnovers. And that pass intended for Kofa.
There's Grantham. Look at it. Look at the fire. I love sitting down with this staff, Todd Grantham especially. You know, growing up in a house with a dad that was a defensive coordinator and a fiery defensive coordinator at that. I get excited to sit down with that guy. He likes to roll the dice a little bit and bring those guys. He's got a lot of pieces, a lot of chess pieces out there on that field that he can do a lot of different things with.
Jair Alexander is back, standing at the 10. Arthur Hart, the punt. Alexander will let this one sail by him and once again into the end zone. And here in the first quarter is time for ACC stories. And James, there's some great ones out there.
Oh, man, absolutely. Number 2, Clemson. Number 22, North Carolina. Will they meet up at year's end in Charlotte again? Louisville may have something to say about that. ACC Player of the Year. Gosh, take your pick. Maybe we're looking at him as a sophomore, but it could be Dalvin Cook. Deshaun Watson, of course, it was last year. And absolutely, to answer that question, yes, they can bring home the Heisman. We've got a dark horse for Heisman right here playing back under center in Lamar Jackson, number 8.
Well, outside of Deshaun Watson down at Clemson, Lamar Jackson may be the most talked about quarterback in the ACC. Brandon Radcliff gets to the edge and a big run there. And it's a 1st and 10 for the Cards. A 15-yard run. Tyreek Harris on the stop.
Another Miami guy. I think it was Lucas McNeil over on the edge with a nice block to set the edge and showing you the speed and then those strong legs, the lower body, very strong on Radcliffe.
Lamar Jackson. He's to the 45-50 and into 49er territory. There is a flag down. There's also a helmet off of a Louisville Cardinal player, so he'll have to come off of the field. And that is Jalil Hunter.
Illegal hands at a face. Defense.
The left guard.
15-yard penalty.
Well, and since the penalty was on the defense here, Matt, he doesn't have to come
Offensive
out.
player, number 50, does not have to leave the game.
And there it is. Good call and trying to protect those players. He's got to stop play, and had it not been a penalty on the defense to cause the helmet to come off, he would have had to go out just as he did, but he's right back in there because it was the penalty.
And the senior transfer from Eastern Arizona Junior College came out of a wishbone offense, so there's definitely a learning curve into the pro offense of the Cardinals. Lamar Jackson to the end zone, and he overthrows his intended target of Jamari Staples. And there's another flag down. Edric Davis.
Defense. Number 26. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Well, 2 big penalties back-to-back.
Yep.
Brad Lambert not happy. And you can't help out a Louisville team, number 19 team in the country. You're already on your heels early, and they've been helping you with some penalties. But now you give them 2 big hitters like this and just let them march on down after you've had a couple decent plays back-to-back.
1st and 10. From the 15, here's Jackson with plenty of time now. Under pressure, overthrows. And the receiver, Jalen Smith. The pressure came from straight up the middle, and Larry Ogunjobi. 2nd and 10 now. CPI security. The red zone offense last season, 58 opportunities, 34 touchdowns, 14 field goals. They were 11th in the ACC. This is, without question, James, the best offense that Bobby Petrino has had since his return. Radcliffe Gets all bottled up and tangled up. And it's going to bring up now 3rd down as he tries to scamper past the line of scrimmage. And Nick Cook is right there.
Out of the pistol look, you get a lot of different looks here on this offense. And right there to knock it down, Nick Cook and company. Couple back-to-back plays showing some fire now on the defense. Can they get off the field here?
3rd and 9. Jackson with time to the end zone. Touchdown, Louisville. Reggie Bonnafon. 13-yard touchdown strike. And they take advantage of the penalties on the 49ers.
Bonnafon losing a little bit of weight to move from quarterback to receiver. Bonnafon had 5 starts as a quarterback last year, or as a freshman, and started last year.
On the field of a touchdown is under further review.
They'll take a look at it, but Bonnafon now a full-time wide receiver, and they want to make sure that he caught it and brought it in. Well, it really is a pretty ball that he throws, isn't it? Lamar Jackson, just an effortless flick of the wrist. Here we go. Let's take a look at it with him. And there's the catch, and there's seems to have a.
Yep.
He was switching hands, but it was always secure. And now remember, here new this year, not only will they look at it up top here in the replay booth, but back in Greensboro, the ACC will look at every replay as well, that ACC Command Center. So an extra wrinkle now, and just to make sure that, some consistency, so you've got one person kind of overseeing everything.
Replay confirms the ruling on the field. Touchdown.
Call is confirmed. And Evan O'Hara on for the extra point. Taking over for John Wallace, one of the best kickers in program history. O'Hara. And Mason King gets it down, and O'Hara makes it 14-0. And Bobby Petrino, 3rd season back last year, 8-5. They started 0-3, as you mentioned. His first year back, they were 9-4. They did win 8 of their last 10 games, including the Music City Bowl with that 27-21 victory against Texas A&M. And he said coming into the season when we talked to him yesterday, certainly more comfortable on the offensive side, specifically at the quarterback position, having Lamar Jackson.
Right, and last year, really, the true weak spot was that offensive line to block for him that was so young. And it's the same offensive line that struggled at times last year, but they've got more birthdays under their belts. And so they're more mature. They've recruited good players year in, year out here. It's a tough place to play as a young college football player, maybe even the toughest, they say, along that offensive line. How about the maturity, Matt, for a team to start 0-3? In there they almost beat Clemson, and then they were down against NC State, but to turn it around and have that finish.
Well, they only lost Aaron Epps up front as Chris Montgomery returns it to the 27-yard line. Our Toyota tweet of the week from Louisville football. At U of L football, tonight's game versus the Charlotte 49ers is sold out. 55,000 here in the Ville.
Well, they're liking what they're seeing so far. I mean, the beautiful weather. Here we are in September, and it's like we're in late September. It's nice and cool, nice breeze blowing.
Saw that Teddy Bridgewater jersey there in the stands here at Papa John's Cardinal Stadium. Of course, unfortunate for him, the former Louisville quarterback. And with the injury to his left knee, Stacey Thomas on the stop. 14-0, the 19th ranked Cardinals, as this offense for the 49ers tries to get going here. It's going to be 2nd down and 10 for Kevin Olsen. And speaking of the offensive line, as he looks downfield and able to get it to T.L. Ford, the second. And they'll be moving the chains. Tremaine Washington comes over. This is one of the areas Jeff Mullen thought that maybe they could get after the corners.
That's one thing too. An aggressive defense, but you take advantage of that aggressiveness of the defense, and the little pump pulls them all off. And Olsen had to reset his feet, or it may have been to the house. That's a huge play.
Offense. Number 73, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Fifth-year senior Jamal Covington, the left tackle for the 5 starters, are back up front for the 49ers. This is their 4th year of football, 2nd in the FBS. Last year started 2-0 and then lost 10 consecutive games, 2-10 a season ago, 0-8 in the Conference USA. Olsen throws it underneath to Phillips. Phillips turns and unable to get anywhere as he is dragged down and stopped.
See, and that's something here in a couple weeks. It's just a different speed than what Olsen and company have seen in practice here leading up. These guys are in his face, or maybe they feel like that they're a little bit faster. Rush that one a little bit. Made Phillips go up for it. Otherwise, you wait an extra beat and give a little touch on it. And he's got a lot of space and some big blockers leading the way.
Devontae Fields on the stop. Honorable mention All-ACC season ago. Olsen gets rid of it. And saying that he threw it out of bounds. Fields and Hearns providing the pressure for the Cardinals.
Line of scrimmage.
Well, you see how they've bottled them up. It's something that we haven't seen on the other side of the ball with guys trying to bring down Lamar Jackson. He does a great job to get out of that pocket that was collapsing on him just to live to play another down, and now they are going to call it intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 2. The quarterback goes out of the pocket, but the ball did not cross the line of scrimmage. The ball replays the spot of the foul. Loss of down.
So he was outside the tackle box, but the ball has to go beyond the line of scrimmage where the ball was snapped. So it's a smart play and a good effort by Olsen, but it didn't quite make it all the way back, and he's saying it did. But see, this is what happens. You have that great big play, and then you jump off sides. You have a senior that jumps off sides, and you kill any momentum that you built. You're dying to get a piece of momentum, and now look what's happened ever since then. You're back almost where you started from.
Instead of at the 33 of the Cardinals. 4th penalty on the 49ers. Here's Olsen under pressure once again, coming from the edge. He loses the football, and it's recovered by Louisville. Drew Bailey recovers it. James Hearns applies the big stick on the quarterback, Kevin Olsen. We talked to Todd Grantham. He said how explosive James Hearns is off the ball. Look at him here.
Well, they had him confused, too. You see, Kelsey was walked up like he was going to come. Then they back him out. They bring another guy, and Cannon, the safety, walked up. So bodies not on bodies. And James Hearns, the junior from Tallahassee, Lincoln High School, just like big Kevin Carter, a great guy in the NFL, making him pay.
Jackson under pressure, getting away from King, fires it downfield, and Bonnafon has it inside the 20 for the Cardinals.
And now right back over the ball, Louisville moving those chains, and you get the big turnover and come right back firing after you had some good things go your way for the 49ers. The defense is forced to step up and make a big play themselves here now.
Jeremy Smith in the backfield, and now another penalty marker.
Number 56, 5-yard penalty. First down.
Keola Mahoney, the right guard.
Mahoney Police Academy. Mahoney's always getting yelled at. Mahoney. Was it Sergeant Proctor? Tackleberry.
I knew it wouldn't take long.
Penalties. Both teams with 4 each. You'd expect it on opening night. Out of the shotgun, Jackson fires it on the far side, down the sideline into the end zone. Jeremy Smith out of the backfield, the junior from Hammond, Louisiana.
Number 8, Lamar Jackson, 24 yards.
Lonnie Galloway in a meeting with him along with Chris Klanakis. What did they tell us? Said really good out of the backfield catching the ball, and they go to him.
Yeah, and aren't we all with nobody within 20 yards? I'm with you, Matt, though. That's the one thing I had written down about the third string running back is great out of the backfield. He looked pretty good there. And see, that's the thing. Coach Lambert said, hey, we'll play tough, but will we play smart? That is a big-time bust right there, and that is not something you can do if you want to try to take down a top 20 team.
2 plays, 39 yards, James, in 58 seconds, and a 24-yard touchdown to pass his second. And you see the coaching staff now talking to Carrington King, trying to get things together for the Niners as they trail 21-0 already here in the first quarter. Bonnafon, a great catch that time.
Well, and a great throw. How about the touch just over the fingertips of the defender? And there's the payoff, the big touchdown. And that coming, of course, after the first turnover forced by Todd Grantham's Louisville defense, a Louisville Cardinal defense that's really kind of carried this team the last couple years. You hear about Bobby Petrino, you think, oh man, offense. Well, it's been all kinds of fun defense to watch the last few years, and getting started right where they left off last year and doing what they do best and forcing turnovers, just wreaking havoc in the backfield.
As we mentioned, they forced 56 over the last 2 seasons. Chris Montgomery, the junior, and out of bounds. And Montgomery, the ball carrier there, and D. Smith makes a tackle, and you see the total yards already here in this opening quarter.
You know, the one thing that we've seen out of Petrino's bunch is the penalties. It was one of the most penalized team in the nation last year, and you know they've got high hopes. There are people talking dark horse Heisman here, Lamar Jackson. There are people talking, hey, this may be the year that they can finally knock off a Clemson or knock off a Florida State, both in their division in the ACC, and both they will see within the next month. But they can't do it by getting all those penalties.
Phillips is corralled and stopped. Keith Kelsey, quarterback of the D, comes in there and makes a stop. Preseason All-ACC. Had a career-high 15 tackles a season ago against Houston, and when we talked to him, he said, I want to go for 20.
Want to get that 20. I played with his pops, Keith Kelsey Sr., great linebacker at Florida, both Gainesville guys. He went to GHS, same high school that Tom Petty went to, the Purple Hurricanes back in Gainesville.
2nd and 8, and Phillips is driven out of bounds. Jair Alexander along with Josh Harvey Clemens there, and Keith Kelsey leads the team with 26 career starts now on D.
When they had their success, Charlotte, on the ground early, it was when they were going right downhill, getting downhill right now. Let's get 4. Let's get 5. It's tough to get outside on a speedy defense like these guys from Louisville, especially when you got guys up front that are eating up blockers and letting them run free.
3rd and 9, Olsen. And Olsen trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. And once again, look at Todd Grantham. He is fired up. You can play for him.
Fast, physical, and smothering. How's this for smothering? Watch him. Everybody's staying in their lanes. Oh, man, what a pretty job there by DeAsian Richardson. You know, he stays in his lane, walks him back, and then he'll spin underneath when he knows he has him in the pocket. It's for a team in Louisville to make these plays and to make these sacks and make these turnovers, they have to play unselfish football, and that's what you got right there.
And a fake punt. And the fake punt is not going to go anywhere.
Tackled by number 84,
Gio Piscasio is able to make this stop.
Boy, and it was a fake all the way. I wasn't sure if he mishandled it and just tucked it and went. And that's a great job. These coaches, they split up the duties on the special teams. And that's a nice heads-up job. In game one, with Pescasio right there, game one for him to be playing heads-up football like that is impressive.
Jackson scoops it back up and gets out of harm's way. It's 21-0 Cardinals. They have started their last two drives on their own 39 and 35. Great field position, obviously. And Lamar Jackson trying to do some more damage here in this opening quarter. Jeremy Smith in the backfield. Jackson right through the teeth of the defense with one big move there and down to the 25 of the 49ers. Zach Duncan on the stop.
What do they call it? A blind dog in a meat market? That's so many times we've seen a guy in the backfield come free and have a chance to bring down Lamar Jackson. And you can't be that blind dog in the meat market just running around chewing at things. I mean, you've got to break down, especially on this guy. You're not going to get the big drop shot. Break down.
Louisville.
And if nothing else, slow him up. Don't go running by him blindly and let him come flying out of there when he hits the line of scrimmage and he's at 100 miles an hour. You've got to slow him down and bottle him up. And the problem is, you know, you see a lot of great pass rushers. You see a lot of great defensive linemen. But sometimes if they're great, it doesn't really help the defense because it shows where you can't just have a couple good ends because then you've got a middle that has no push. You've got to do it across the line, and that's what we saw from Louisville on the last time. But you're only seeing one or two guys come free that they'll draw it up, and then you've got guys that it's just all these big gaps. You don't have any push from that defensive line, which, yeah, it's not quite Florida State Syracuse next week for Bobby Petrino's team yet, but he has to be happy with what he's seen sans the penalties from his young offensive line so far.
Lamar Jackson throws underneath and it is caught by Travion Samuel. And let's send it down to Jen Hildreth with more on Lamar Jackson.
Well, I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Lamar Jackson progresses this season and see how he blends that mix of throwing the ball and being so dynamic, as we've seen already, that he can be with his legs when he runs it. You know, in the spring, Bobby Petrino wouldn't let him run. He forced him to stay in the pocket. And Lamar said, I knew I had to do it. I had to work on it. Feels confident in both assets now.
Inside the 10 on the handoff, and Smith carrying it all the way down inside the 1 as Nick Cook was riding on his back. And pick up a 17.
Here you see guys blocking downfield. Good job that time by Tobridge, the tight end. And Smith can't quite get it in for his second touchdown of the night.
Jackson keeping it. Did he lose it? And laying on it.
I think so.
Yeah. Is A.J. McDonald, the redshirt freshman.
Ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by the defense on the 1.5 yard line. First down.
Well, there's that redshirt freshman, A.J. McDonald. And we got on him a little bit earlier for taking a bad angle. If this one stands, man, what a big stop as the first quarter comes to an end. And Lamar doing all he can to dive across that goal line and score a touchdown on the little zone read. Makes the right read. Good job keeping. And couldn't see if the hand was still on it. Here we go.
He's trying to reach it across the goal line.
Remember, it was ruled a fumble on the field. And also remember, if you're just joining us this year in college football, especially here in the ACC, they're looking at it not only up in the replay booth, but in the ACC Command Center as well. Is it out right now is the question.
Right. Is his hand on the football? And you can't tell. You see his hand there. But is his hand still on the football as it touches the ground?
With that dark paint in there, you can't really tell. And had he been an inch further, had his body not turned, it would have been a touchdown, and it wouldn't have mattered because it absolutely would have crossed the plane. Ruled a fumble in 49er football on the field. They'll look at it in Greensboro. They'll look at it up here in the booth.
21-0 Cardinals over the 49ers. Is his hand on the football there?
Well, you know what? If we're so busy looking at his hand, it's a while before his leg even hits the ground. If you watch his left leg that's on the bottom.
But it appears as though that the ball may have broken the plane. Initially, at least. And then was it pushed back?
After further review, the quarterback reached the ball across the goal line prior to his knee going down and losing possession. Touchdown.
He had his hand on the ball, and the ball went over the goal line. It's a touchdown for the Cardinals, and Jackson, the second one on the ground. And what an impressive opening quarter of the 2016 season for Bobby Petrino. Putting up big numbers here. And you know what his offense can do. Every stop he has made starting at Utah State, his offenses have been big time. 5 plays, 35 yards. Lamar Jackson on the ground. And the Louisville Cardinals lead 28-0. Defense has been great, and so has Lamar Jackson. ACC football is brought to you by the official corporate champions of the ACC. Geico, New York Life, and by Bojangles. 28-0, 19th ranked Louisville Cardinals lead the Charlotte 49ers. As we take a look at the game summary, and as you would expect, James, all Louisville.
Yeah, you talked about that defense. Look at that, -12 in the rushing category for Charlotte. They've taken that away, this Louisville defense, here to start. And they'll get another chance to come out here now to start the second quarter and get some positive things going, get some first downs. The goal was every game to get 27.
Anthony Covington spinning away and getting up to the 22-yard line. And here comes Kevin Olsen and the 49ers to see if they can get something going and avoid any sort of penalties that's going to back them up. They had that big play that got them into Cardinals territory down to the 33, but then penalties backed them all up.
What a tough go for Olsen, who's waited so long to come back around, had to go out and play at Riverside City College, junior college in California. And come on back to Charlotte and just so excited to go play in. It's not an easy first draw here with this Louisville defense.
4 of 8 to start now. 5 of 9. It's Phillips, and Phillips is going to pick up a couple before Keith Kelsey comes in. Captain along with Cannon to make the stop in Josh Harvey Clemens. Jamal Covington is down. The left tackle, 31 career starts, a double major, geography and environmental studies. getting some assistance.
That's tough. That left side of the line for Coach Lambert. Covington, Casey Perry, even center LaBianca with so much experience. And hopefully Covington can get back out there tonight, but especially here in weeks to come as this Charlotte team starts eventually its Conference USA schedule.
Yep.
Part of that Eastern Division, the 7-team Eastern Division in Conference USA.
Here's Phillips. Phillips sheds one tackler. And then finally stopped by Kelsey and Harvey Clemens.
Well, how's this for getting downhill? Boom, getting downhill right now. You're going to have a tough time beating this Louisville Cardinal defense to the outside. And here's a nice little bounce. This is why they like Phillips so much. And Chucky Williams stepping up there puts a big hit on him, but you got to wrap up 22.
First down, and a penalty marker is down. Robert Washington, the true freshman from Huntersville, North Carolina.
Holding. Offense. Number 70. 10-yard penalty. Third down.
And Brad Lambert not pleased there. And this is a team that up front, they have 3 fifth-year seniors. For the first time ever in their program, they have more than 13 seniors.
Well, we've seen 2 penalties from 2 of those senior leaders. Earlier, we just saw Covington leave the game with an injury, but he jumped off sides earlier. I mean, here they've got something going. 2 big back-to-back runs by Phillips, but they're going backwards with the yellow flags.
3rd and 12. Austin Duke cuts it back up through the middle. Duke is going to be reeled in and brought down at the 29-yard line, shy of the first down. Chris Williams is there along with Cannon.
And here you go, Duke. He's going to get some guys to help clear the way, and a good job of coming back across the middle. But at that point now, here's a senior wide receiver. You know where those sticks are. Don't dance. You've got 3 yards to go. Find a way to go try to attack it and get that first down. And a good job, too, of getting there in a hurry and rallying the Louisville defense.
No fake punt this time. Arthur Hart, to Alexander, and Alexander no place to go. 32-yard punt. 28-0. 19th ranked Louisville Cardinals here at home against the 49ers of Charlotte.
It's a MLB.
ACC football is brought to you by Wix Filters. Go to wixfilters.com to find a local distributor near you. The President's House here on the campus of the University of Louisville. And there's James Bates. I didn't know they had a statue of you here.
Yeah, I've done a lot of thinking this week. Yeah, just kind of thinking about this football season. I haven't been thinking like this. I've been raring to go, excited for this college football.
Well, I was so impressed how you were able to run through the tunnel there and get all the way up here for the open right at the very start.
Hey, how about my man, Ben Lucas? I recruited a bugler to do the call to post for me to start it off. That was cool.
That was, of course, as you mentioned, we're just blocks away from Churchill Downs, and getting downfield is Jamari Staples. A big-time play by Staples, and Jackson connects with him.
Well, Jamari Staples started off his college career at UAB. Just left to run free across the middle of the field. You try to get a body on him. You got to get a little shuck on him. You can't let those big guys, especially the big ones that are a little bit easier to get a piece of, just run free untouched across the middle. Just too easy. Nobody picks them up. And another easy one right here.
Out of the backfield and into the end zone, Brandon Radcliff, the senior from Miami. And a quick strike by Louisville.
Matt, don't help that gentleman out right there at all. Bobby Petrino is one of the best in the game of creating mismatches, of putting guys in position where this guy can beat this guy of yours. But he's also, if something works, he's going to come back to it. Hey, they didn't find Jeremy Smith coming out of the backfield earlier. Nobody was on him. Nobody's on Radcliff there. They've got to get that cleaned up. They've got to get these backers knowing their coverage responsibilities.
Offense. Number 50. 5-yard penalty. Retry.
Bobby Petrino. That drive, 2 possessions, 60 yards, 37 seconds. And a 16-yard touchdown pass. Lamar Jackson, 7 of 10, 130 yards in the air, 3 touchdowns. On the ground, 9 attempts for 104 yards. He had 5 games a season ago of 100 or more. And in talking to Bobby Petrino yesterday when we met with him, one of the things that he said, he goes, I call plays for players. And he's got the players, and certainly right now dialing it up.
Yeah, I like that. You know, and it's not just the best guy out there, the fastest guy. It's, you know, who's hot. It's who's hot. Who's the mismatches again. You know, I want to see this guy up against this guy. I really like that. And then what I really liked was to take it a step further. We talked to his offensive coordinators, and they said, oh, yeah, we've got to get it to list. Don't they, Jen? Get it to on that game plan. Who do we get it to?
Tell you what, James Bates, I know you want to get on that list if you're an offensive player for Louisville. And actually, I asked Coach Petrino about that list before the game. I said, hey, Coach, we heard about your get it to list. I said, do the guys know when they're on that list? And he kind of laughed and said, no, I don't think so. But they want to be on it. No doubt about that.
Well, who wouldn't want to be? And this is an offense that last year, over the last 5 games, they averaged 35.6 points. In 2014, his first year back, they averaged 31.2. And then after 8 games last season, it was 24.4. Well, they right now have put up 35 here in the first half. And Anthony Covington's going to take it. And Covington is stopped at the 22-yard line by Ronald Walker, the junior, out of Colin Community College. 20-yard return.
Cardinal fans are excited what their defense has done. They're excited about Lamar Jackson in this offense. But you know what they really need to be excited about? And you know what really speaks volumes about a football team? Is how is that special teams playing? You know, how are some of these backups who are just fighting to get on the field, how are they playing? And they passed that test as well in the third phase of the game here tonight. Guys are covering. Guys are hustling down and going down and making big plays on the special teams, too.
Robert Washington, a handoff to the true freshman. And he is stopped by Chucky Williams. And he's still grinding it out. 5'10", 200 pounds. He's the first 4-star recruit to sign with the 49ers. He originally committed to play in the ACC with Syracuse and then changed. And he decided to stay at home.
Well, kept churning there, and you got to watch this body here at the end. Not sure who that is jumping up top, but you got to be careful with that because a point of emphasis last year with the officiating became those piles, you know, going and pulling guys off the piles and jumping on the piles, because a lot of times that's where you'll get the fights.
Ben LeMay, the other true freshman, will carry it. And talking to Jeff Mullen, the offensive coordinator, he said, look, they're just too good not to play. And the pair of true freshmen and running backs, both from the greater Charlotte area. And Brad Lambert, typically he has that philosophy of redshirting. He said, be as old of a team as you can be. And Olsen to the near side. And the pass intended for Ford. And there is a marker down.
Defense, number 10. First down.
Zaire Alexander. The 6th penalty for Louisville, so certainly something that Bobby Petrino can talk about at halftime.
Yeah, and you know, another thing that Bobby Petrino did talk about yesterday in our coaches' meetings, he talked about those young players playing early. He said the coaches can be around them now a lot more than in the past in the off season. So when they're there with their strength coaches and in their conditioning workouts, their weight workouts, the coaches can be around and you can incorporate a lot of that teaching. And you better believe it motivates them to work even that much harder when you've got your position coach or Petrino there watching you.
Washington going up against the 18th ranked defense from a season ago and a big run there, and thought that he quite possibly could have broken it before. Chucky Williams comes in, the hard-hitting junior from Hialeah, Florida.
Good job by the offensive line that's been banged up already. Here's the challenge. Put it back-to-back, and right away you've got a flag. You've got to put back-to-back good plays. You can't kill yourself like that.
Offense, number 70, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Casey Perry, another fifth-year senior.
Sorry, Matt, but that's the difference between playing tough and playing smart. You're out there, you're excited, but how many times have we seen, hey, now they're doing something, and then they go backwards, and it's just such a momentum killer, and now you've got a first down and 15, and you're fighting for your life just to get every yard you can, and you finally got a little bit of juice, and you back it up again, and it's Perry one more time with the penalty to hurt him.
And Kevin Olsen, timeout. A frustrating start for sure for the 49ers. And Kevin Olsen, it's 35-0 Louisville. ACC kickoff from Louisville, Kentucky. And the 19th ranked Cardinals lead 35-0 with 10:02 remaining here in the first half. Now to the timeout for Olsen. And the 49ers, they're going to give it to Ben LeMay. Initially hit by Chucky Williams, unable to wrap him up. As a powerful young running back from Butler High School in Matthews, North Carolina, is able to break free, but finally brought down.
Well, this is the second time we've seen Chucky Williams make up his mind that he's going to go make a play, and he's like a heat-seeking missile, but he's got to finish it off. It's also the second time that he hasn't been able to wrap up and drop it.
Out of the shotgun. Olsen, with time, fires it. And it is caught. Bonnafon made the catch. Cannon made the stop. All right. Bonnafon with the catch.
So a third down and 9 now. Find those sticks. Run those routes at the sticks. Defensively, know that 40-yard line. Know where that mark is. They're coming up top here, Matt. At least they showed it.
And another penalty marker.
False start. Offense. Number 50. 5-yard penalty.
You mentioned this earlier talking to Brad Lambert. He said the number one thing, play smart, and it just hasn't been the case up front. Jared Barr now, fifth-year senior. It's been their veterans. They have 19 seniors on this team. And this is in the midst of their sixth play. It's their longest drive of the game.
Also their 7th penalty of the game. So that 3rd and 9 now becomes a 3rd down and 14. Grantham had a blitz drawn up off the edge. They're walked up here. Kelsey and company. They might go backing out, and they will.
Along with Harvey Clemens, he was up there as well. And looking downfield for Foggy, Jawan Foggy, a sophomore from High Point, North Carolina. And it's going to be 4th and 14. It's just tough to come to Louisville, get your first FBS start against a defense like this. They get after you in a heartbeat. Jair Alexander, and then of course the offense just so explosive under Bobby Petrino. What a mix they have here in the Ville. Arthur Hart, the punter, and penalty flag.
False start. Offense. Number 23. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
8th penalty for Brad Lambert's 49ers. He was hired March 1st of 2011 and involved in all aspects of building the new football program. And coached previously at Oklahoma, Marshall, Georgia, of course, Wake Forest. Hart and Alexander telling everyone to stay away from it as it is stopped at the 35. And let's send it down to Jen.
All right, I assume I'm looking kind of at the camera. I really can't tell it all the things I do for you guys, but the reason I put these on as Lamar Jackson gets set to take the field for Louisville is because this is a new tool that Bobby Petrino started using with his team in the spring. It's by Exos, the company that does all the film cut-ups. It is a virtual reality 3D goggles. Yes, like you see with video games, this allows the quarterback to see the entire field, not just tackle to tackle. He can see the entire field, and the coaches can see which way he looks. And they say it's been a tremendous tool, although I'm taking it off right now because I'm terrified since I can't see what's happening.
Don't worry, LJ Scott didn't come close to you that time.
Yeah,
and Scott with a 17-yard run. How great. We put on the virtual reality goggles, and it's just amazing the technology and where it's all going.
Well, what's really neat about it is I used to love watching the end zone copy because you see everything develop, meaning from the tape. Usually when you break down tape, especially back in the olden days, you'd see it from up high on the side where you can see the whole field, and then you see a tighter, like the tackle box, but you can't see outside. You can't see everything that's going around. And Jen's not kidding. Like, not only do you see the corners that you're going up against, where they're lining up, but Jen, if you keep turning around with those things on like you were yesterday, you can see the coaches that are standing behind you.
It's just incredible. They put someone with a camera out there in spring for every rep right behind the quarterback. And I talked to someone from the company Exos. There's about 30 teams between college and pro football and basketball that use this. In the ACC, Florida State is another one. But tell you what, Bobby Petrino had a little glint in his eye when he told us about this new tool, didn't he?
He was excited about it. Well, and everything you can get to help your young quarterback. It's never really been in this kind of system before.
Underthrows his intended target. It allows, as that pass was intended for Charles Stanberry, it allows the coaches to see exactly what the quarterback is looking at as well. And as you said, it's 360 degrees. You can spin all the way around, but you can also see exactly the progressions that he is going through.
Right. I'd like to see a virtual reality tackling device.
Pass is complete. It's a first down and more for Cole Hikutini. Team high a season ago, 18.3 yards per reception. 24-yard pickup that time.
And this is a part of the offense that we haven't really seen get involved, with the exception of blocking so far here tonight. But they go about 4 deep with Hikutini, Tobridge, Stanberry, and Crum at tight end.
And then to the near side, the pass is caught by Jalen Smith.
Well, you can check them off on the get it to list.
Yep. They're getting to everyone right now.
Yep, both coordinators told us yesterday. Who is it, maybe somebody that we wouldn't expect? And they both said Jalen Smith, the sophomore from Pascagoula, Mississippi.
Bad snap. Jackson trying to create. Still on his feet. Jackson, stiff arm, dancing along the sideline, and a penalty marker is down. Ogunjobi, the 5th-year senior from Greensboro, North Carolina, was right there, and he has started all 35 games in school history.
They go block in the back. Offense. Number 9. 10-yard penalty.
This is going to be Jalen Smith coming back, trying to help out his quarterback. Here he is down at the bottom watching. The stiff arm from Jackson as the defender going down, and gosh, don't know that it really would have mattered, but he reached out those hands and maybe got a piece of that jersey, and so going back the other way, Jackson upset at the end of that, too. He felt like Ogunjobi gave him a little extra shove on the ground. He got up firing Matt. You know, it isn't very often you see a scowl on number 8's face. Even Bobby Petrino says, you know, this guy, he's so happy. He's always smiling, and it's tough to get mad at him. Even when I want to get mad at him, he's got that big smile, and he's so positive. It's tough to really get too upset with him. And his teammates love his leadership and love his positive energy, voting him captain.
Out of the backfield to L.J. Scott. Scott into the end zone, and the Cardinals are rolling on a Thursday night in Louisville. 20-yard touchdown pass out of the backfield.
20 yards to number 27,
And Lamar Jackson is putting up big-time numbers here in the first half.
Boy, here we've seen Jeremy Smith get in there. We know Radcliff can do his thing. Look at the big guys leading the way. McNeil again down there. And boy, it's tough to break through that wall, especially when you've got a 230-pound running back that's going full steam looking for his first touchdown of the year.
42-0. 8 different receivers for Lamar Jackson and the Cardinals. He's 10 for 14 and 4 touchdown passes is the sophomore.
Double meat and cheese.
42-0 with 6:27 remaining here in the second quarter, and they're opening up the offense, and the get-to list is expanding.
Yeah, there's the tight end, Big Cole Hikutini, the Californian. And here comes Jalen Smith. And then it's L.J. Scott. I called out McNeil earlier, but Keola Mahoney as well. The left guard doing an outstanding job to get downfield and pick up his defender and pave the way. And how about this, Matt? A school record already. Here we are with 6.5 minutes left in the first half for Lamar Jackson. He's responsible for all 6 touchdowns in this game. Thrown, and he's run for 2.
He is dynamic. There's no question about it. And the 49ers with Anthony Covington trying to get down the sideline. And he is out of bounds. 42-0 Louisville. Next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern. You'll be down in Tallahassee as a Heisman Trophy hopeful Dalvin Cook and the 2016 Seminoles host Charleston Southern. So join us live from Bobby Bowden Field at Doak Campbell Stadium for all the pageantry, tradition, and excitement. ACC college football Saturday.
There you go. Cooking it up down there in Tallahassee. Boy, they've got the short week before we go see them with Charleston Southern. And a tough game they'll be coming off of. Shoot, Monday night before the NFL takes over, it's a center stage there for the Seminoles and Ole Miss down in Orlando. They've got a big storm going through Tallahassee right now. Hopefully they got out of there early.
Matt Johnson, the 5th-year senior, is in as quarterback, and of course they'll use him. He's a former quarterback. They've transitioned him to running back, but they'll use him in a wildcat. He started last year 11 games at quarterback, but had 8 interceptions. Let's see if they go with him a little bit more here in the first half. Another keeper for Matt Johnson, and with more on Matt as he heads toward that first down to marker. Here is Jen Hildwood. Jen?
Well, Matt Johnson's role certainly has changed, getting a chance to get in there and run things as quarterback for a couple of plays, but for the most part he has moved to running back. And talking to offensive coordinator Jeff Mullen, said he's a tough guy, he's a football guy. This allows him to just be more of a football guy, take away that decision-making part, because that's part of where he struggled last year with turning the ball over.
Kevin Olsen back in, and he gives it to Khalif Phillips. Phillips a season ago just shy of 1,000 yards. He was injured, and over the final 3 games of the season was only able to collect 10 yards. He was 5th in Conference USA in rushing yards per game. And he's run for over 3,000 yards in his 3-year career. It's 4th and 1. Phillips 18 yards here in the first half tonight. The largest halftime lead under Bobby Petrino here in Louisville. 42-0. That was at Temple back in September 9th of 2006, and then against the Bearcats of Cincinnati, November 27th here at home, 2004, and a chance here for their largest halftime lead, and now flags are down once again. And Chucky Williams with Bobby Petrino right there. Not happy. Just been too many penalties here early on for both teams. We have 4:20 remaining in the first half.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Kicking team, number 34. 15-yard penalty. First down.
I called it on 34. Just the way that whole sideline reacted and the way Keith Kelsey jumped out there and got 22 out of there. I think it was Chucky Williams. And my goodness, it's you got to have a cooler head than that. You've got to be smart. Like it's exactly like Coach Lambert of Charlotte said earlier. Hey, we'll be tough, but we got to be smart too. You can't just be the toughest guy on the block and go out there with fisticuffs. He's lucky that they didn't throw him out of the game. And, also, everybody's talking about Florida State in a couple weeks here, Matt, but you've been up there, upstate New York quite a bit, and in Toronto quite a bit. You know what it's like, that Carrier Dome.
Yep.
Hey, I don't care what kind of Syracuse team you're playing. Look at LSU last year going up there. It is one of the toughest venues to play at in all of college football. Coach Babers got him excited up there, too.
Dino Babers is there. Another penalty marker is down. Jackson loses the football out of bounds, and of course coming over from Bowling Green. September 9th will be the Cardinals and the Orange.
Hands in the face. Defense. Number 52. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Zach Duncan. And a penalty on Zach. You look at the Cardinals. You talked about that 0-3 start a season ago. They lost to Auburn in the Georgia Dome. And then they lost here to Houston. They'll see Houston again, a little revenge late in the season, as you well know. And then they also lost to Clemson and then turned it around as they won 8 of their final 10. But those 3 games, they lost them by a total of 13 points. Just 13 points. It was a 3-point game to Houston, a 3-point game to the Clemson Tigers.
Yeah, a Clemson team that would ultimately be the runner-up in college football. A great football team. And, even FSU the last couple of years, they've given them fits. Kelsey got hurt last year in that FSU game, really hurt him quite a bit on the defensive side of the ball. It's, you get the sense, and these Louisville fans know it, and that gentleman right there, Bobby Petrino, knows it. They're on their way.
Yep.
And these other teams in the ACC are hoping they're not there just yet, because Clemson and Florida State are both looking to have a great big year. Not to mention the guys over on the other side.
Mickey Crum and Tobridge, they are in. Here is Lamar Jackson, and Jackson has a first down. Tobridge with a big block
number 50
there.
has to leave the game for one play. Number 50.
So number 50 will leave. Khalil Hunter. His helmet coming off. It's the second time his helmet has come off. Last time he didn't have to leave the field because there was a penalty on the 49ers. From September 17th to October the 22nd, Louisville will face 5 straight opponents coming off of a winning season. To the end zone, and what a catch! Out of bounds, though. James Quick reeling it in. He thinks he had his feet in. All he needs is one. With 2:59 remaining here in the first half. How about putting this one right on the money?
The only spot it could be, it was outstanding coverage by Winchester, and Quick able to run underneath it. I'd love to be able to see his feet. My goodness. Petrino was telling us about the deep ball and putting it on the money by Jackson. He was right there waiting on it.
Incomplete pass. It's under further review.
It is under review here. We'll get a better look. What a throw. What a catch. It appears as though he has not only, well, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, and I don't even think I think he's out, and I don't even think that it's Winchester that forces him.
I don't know. He's in. He's got that right foot down.
Is he dragging? Oh, Matt. Hey. This is a bit. Now, it looked like he's dragging that foot. He certainly had it secure. You talk about a big-time throw and a big-time catch. Here's one more time. Now watch. It's secured, and the foot drags. He may even get
both.
The other one down.
That might be good on Sunday.
Now let's watch it till the end, guys. Does he have control? Absolutely. That is a touchdown. And that is one of the biggest plays of this weekend by the sophomore to the senior from right here in Louisville. And he popped up and he said, take a look at that. I made that catch. Oh, Lamar Jackson.
That was a big-time throw and a huge catch by the Trinity High School product. He's a senior, led the team in the receptions last year with 39, led the team with 5 touchdown receptions. And potentially the 9th, make it 10th receiver. The 10th receiver. That is how many weapons this offense has.
If they do reverse it, it'll be the 7th touchdown here with 3 minutes left in the first half that Lamar Jackson is responsible for. And it would be the 12th touchdown in a row that he's been responsible for his team, going all the way back to that comeback win over the Kentucky Wildcats.
James says it's done.
Well,
James and Jalen Smith, they had it all figured out over there on the sideline saying, come on now.
Quick led the team with 39 catches last year.
$42-0 also. If it is reversed, it'll be the largest halftime lead in the Bobby Petrino era here in Louisville. 7 seasons. He is 31-4 all-time here at Papa John's Cardinal Stadium. And here it is. Watch the left foot, the right foot. Either one, he's got to get down, and he gets them both down.
Oh, you can even tell from way up here. Now, remember, you can even see actually the pellets, the little rubber pellets that spray up there. Remember, if you've joined us late in the ACC and throughout a lot of college football now this year, replay booth will take a look at it, but also the ACC Command Center. The ACC's taking a look at it as well.
After further review, the receiver possessed the ball, got a foot down, maintained control of the touchdown.
And they did go back to Greensboro to get their assistance there. Longtime official Ted Jackson will oversee all its replay officials. Jackson is in the ACC Command Center each week and serves as the point person with the onside replay officials. And so great work between Greensboro and Louisville, and it's a touchdown. And how about this? Check out this throw and the catch. But of course, it's 49-0. 19th ranked Louisville, and the Bass Pro Shop catch of the game.
And this ain't no spinner reel. This is like a fly rod. This is a nice little gentle touch, just dropping that fly in there. Lamar Jackson. Well, they got some big fish down there in South Florida, right by Boynton Beach, Pompano Beach, where he's from. That was a nice little touch. And how about the hustle to finish that play by James Quick? Man, that was fun to see.
49-0. And taking it out of the end zone is Nate Mullen. Nate Mullen, the son of offensive coordinator Jeff Mullen, on the return with 2:54 remaining here in the first half. For Brad Lambert, his 4th year at Charlotte, they're 12-22. Their first win was back in 2013, 52-7 over Campbell in North Carolina. Their first win over an FBS team was last season, their first year in FBS. It was over Georgia State, 23-20. And Brad Lambert, in his second season in the FBS, a handoff, and Khalif Phillips straight ahead, dancing around and trying to pick up a few here as it's 49-0.
You know, you talk about spreading the ball around offensively. Defensively, too, there's so many players. And we asked Keith Kelsey yesterday, hey, you guys, you play unselfish football. You play good team defense. And he goes, hey, we all know we're all going to get to eat. Yeah. We're all going to get to eat. They've been eating so far tonight, pitching a shutout.
Last season, and boy, did they pursue the football. Gofa. There is Keith Kelsey. 107 tackles. He led the team a season ago. He's the first player since Preston Brown to record over 100 tackles. And if you are on that side of the ball, who would love to play for Todd Grantham? He just gets after it. Under pressure, Olsen down the field into coverage, and Chucky Williams nearly picked it off. He had 3 interceptions last season.
Defense number 44 in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty.
Chris Williams.
First down.
And a junior from Atlanta. Went to Northwest Mississippi and was a defensive MVP in the JUCO national title game.
Enforcement. We're short. 3rd down.
It's going to be 3rd down. 49-0. Olsen have not been able to generate any offense against this great defense of the Cardinals. Handoff inside. Phillips wrapped up and brought down by D. Smith. And Drew Bailey with 140 and counting remaining here in the first half. Potent offense and a potent defense.
And a special teams unit that's getting after it. Guys that are, you've won.
Timeout. Louisville.
Well, they haven't brought the punting unit out. Louisville will call a timeout here with 1:38 left in the first half. You've won so many battles. We talked a little bit of special teams yesterday with Bobby Petrino, and you know, he got excited when he was talking about D. Smith. He said, you know, he's a field missile on kickoff, and I coach those guys. He goes, we draft them. You know, they make it fun. They split it up with the position coaches on what they're coaching on special teams. And when you've got a team that's committed to special teams like that, when you've got starters like D. Smith, that he's a starter in the nickel package that are fighting to be out there and to make plays on special teams and covering kicks. And when you've got younger guys that, hey, if I'm going to get on this field, if I'm going to be a part of this fun run, it's going to be on special teams, and they're competing. Oh, man, it really, really creates a great atmosphere on your football team.
Certainly high expectations here in Louisville for this 19th ranked Cardinals team. Hart. And this one will roll out of bounds. And with a 1:31 remaining here, 37-yard punt.
First down.
And this is what they have coming up. Of course, next week they'll take on Syracuse, and then they'll see Florida State. Dalvin Cook, a season ago, they were 10-3, and last year they lost 41-21. The last time they defeated the Seminoles was back in 2002. The Quicken Loans upcoming schedule. Jackson out of the backfield. He's going to connect with L.J. Scott once again.
Number 8, Jackson's pass complete to number 27.
And they're trying to put more on the board as Nick Carroll brings down Scott.
6 yards, 2nd and 4.
You know, how many opportunities do you get to run a 2-minute offense? And that's what they're doing right here with Lamar Jackson. This is a young guy
Smith into Niners territory.
You know, so don't look at this, say, oh, they're trying to just run up the score. Yeah, it's already ugly, but at the same time, when it's full go, you want your young guy to get experiences like this.
Jackson keeps the play alive, looking downfield, and now throws it out of bounds. And you see Nick Petrino, the quarterback's coach, the son of Bobby Petrino, and talking to Lamar Jackson about Nick yesterday. He said he's like one of us. And certainly a great football mind, as you would expect.
He's also a lot like Pop standing right there next to him. I mean, just the articles that they gave us leading up to this. He's been on his staff as a GA, finally coaching the quarterbacks this year. He's always wanted to be a coach like his dad.
Samuel drops it, and he knew he had some room as he got underneath the D that time. It's going to be 3rd and 10 with 40 seconds remaining here in this second quarter. Third down and 10 for Louisville. At the 40 of the Niners. An impressive first half put together by the Cardinals. And specifically Lamar Jackson across the middle. He finds Staples. And it's a first down. And down to the 25 of Charlotte. 15-yard pickup.
Up there in a hurry. They look pretty sharp getting up over the ball. The sense of urgency, obviously not too much urgency up 49. But running through this drill, they're getting better at it and using it. And a good job coming underneath.
Yep. 17 seconds left here in the first half. Lamar Jackson gets everybody up to the line of scrimmage.
It's a defense that is absolutely gassed right now. On its heels big time.
Jackson on the keeper trying to get outside, and down to 9 seconds as A.J. McDonald comes in and makes the stop.
Timeout. Louisville.
Maybe I was wrong about the just running that 2-minute. I thought maybe they'd let the time run out here the last 9 seconds. Hey, let's take it to the house, but well, they're going to take one more crack at it.
This will be a 30-second timeout.
This offense wants to put a stamp on this one.
Louisville has called their final timeout.
Last time Louisville scored 50 or more in a game was against the Huskies of UConn. They scored 56 back on October 23rd of 2010 in Big East action, and it is a huge first half. Look at those numbers. School record for most touchdowns, a total of 7. And not only doing it on the ground, but certainly in the air, 16 to 22.
He had that record broken at 6. Now he's responsible for 7, and he's trying to get touchdown number 8 before halftime.
Timeout, Charlotte.
And now Brad Lambert calls a timeout. And Bobby Petrino tells his crew to stay on the field.
30-second timeout.
For the latest on everything.
9 seconds remaining here in the first half. The last 4 touchdown game for a quarterback of Louisville through the air was Teddy Bridgewater against Florida International in 2013. September of that year. And Lamar Jackson 16 to 22 for 285 and 5 touchdowns. And with 9 seconds remaining in the first half, 2nd and goal. Let's see what they come up with here. Hikutini and Tobridge on the near side. Jackson in the air. Hikutini, touchdown. Hikutini has 3 touchdown receptions last season, his first of this season.
So here we've seen the running backs involved. We know the play of Lamar Jackson has been pretty sharp to start. The wide receivers as well. And Hikutini and company, the tight ends now getting involved in that touchdown game.
8 plays, 66 yards. 56-0. Most points under Bobby Petrino scored in the first half. And Hikutini was wide open. His second reception. Staples leads the way with 4 receptions, 10 different receivers.
And, you know, and we've sat here singing the praises, a lot justifiably so, of Lamar Jackson. But there's another guy uncovered. And, you know, here's a team in their first full season in FBS football in Charlotte. And so you expected it to be a little bit lopsided, maybe not quite like this. And I know Coach Brad Lambert and his defensive coordinator, Matt Wallerstedt, who's really been a great defensive coordinator over the years. He's been there at A&M, out with Troy Calhoun at Air Force. That's not how they've been coached up. You don't leave guys running free. So a few of those, not to take much away from Louisville offensively, have been way too easy. Way too easy. And you can't expect that not only against the FSUs of the world that are coming to town in a couple weeks, but next week on the road in the Carrier Dome. You cannot look past that because you're not going to get many freebies against teams in the ACC.
Chris Montgomery to the 20, and he is tripped up there and stopped. School record in points in the first half. 56-0. The 19th ranked Louisville Cardinals lead here at halftime. What an impressive first half here, put together by not only Lamar Jackson but also this defense. Let's send it down to Jen Hildreth.
Thanks so much. Well, Coach, I think we could call that a pretty dominant first half, school record first half for your offense. What have you seen from Lamar that you've liked?
Well, I thought he really came back in the second quarter and started seeing things downfield and did a better job of keeping his vision downfield and delivering the ball more on time. Our timing started to get where we wanted it in the second quarter. I think our defense has done a great job. They've been very dominant, gave the offense a lot of short fields.
It's got to encourage you also, of those 6 touchdown passes, 6 different receivers catching the ball for you.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We got a lot of weapons, and they're all wanting to get in there and make plays. And, you know, making plays sometimes gets contagious, so that's what we want to see happen.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Matt?
Well, on offense, their entire receiving, running back, and tight end core is back, and it shows here. It's halftime, 56-0 the Bill.
It's passing by. So if I'm gonna go it all, go big or go. Go big or go home. Go big or go home. Go big or go home. Go big or go home.
Lamar Jackson has been big, and he's not going home yet. He's accounted for 8 touchdowns in the first half. It is 56-0. Impressive.
How about go big and go home? They're doing it right here at Papa John's Cardinal Field. Those 8 touchdowns, a school record that he's been responsible for.
All right, let's check out the game summary here at halftime. It is the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina game summary.
Well, the penalties hurt Charlotte. You can't give a team freebies when you're going in there trying to pull off a big upset. 92 total yards for the 49ers. That Cardinal defense has gotten after it. Offensively, we've seen the damage with the 56 points. But Louisville needs to clean things up as well in the penalty category. 8 penalties, and one of the most penalized teams in the nation a year ago.
Yes, it's halftime. 56-0. Impressive numbers put up by the Cardinals. Cole Hikutini with the touchdown.
Come into Captain D's for a variety of fresh grilled fish and shrimp.
So corporate champions of the ACC. Haviland, Food Lion, and by Toyota. Johnny Unitas, Johnny U, wore 16 here, of course, 19 for the Baltimore Colts. Moments ago, Jen Hildreth caught up with Brad Lambert, head coach of the Charlotte 49ers.
Thanks so much. Well, Coach Lambert, you knew it would be a big challenge coming into this game. You told us your guys had to play smart. How can you be better there in the second half?
Well, we got to eliminate penalties. You know, he's a really good player, and we're having a hard time tackling him. And we can live with all that. You know, you want to get better, but the penalties is what we got to clean up and be in our right place and handle our business.
Thank you, Coach.
Chris Montgomery back along with Nate Mullen, and this one will go through the end zone. And the Louisville Cardinals, this is one of the best defenses, James, that you will see this season. They were 18th in the nation last year, allowing just 332 yards a game.
And the Kentucky headhunters, if you will, swarm from all over. To quote Keith Kelsey Jr., everybody on this defense will eat. I love that. And boom, there you see a nice big lick stepping up. Chucky Williams.
Number 32.
Chucky upset with himself a little bit there because he's had a couple big pops where he could have dropped a runner, but he didn't wrap up and had a penalty a little bit later in the first half.
Handoff up the middle, and Khalif Phillips is brought down from Kannapolis, North Carolina, and stopped by Devontae Fields. Last season, Fields led the nation in tackles for loss per game at 1.73. He had 11 sacks, the most since Marcus Smith back in 2013 for the Cardinals. Honorable mention All ACC. There's Fields coming in off the edge. Olsen. To see if he can find some rhythm here in the third quarter, and the pass is short. He underthrows the intended target. 3rd and 7.
You know, Matt, we've talked about ad nauseum Lamar Jackson and the improvement for him going into his sophomore year. Last year at this time, Devontae Fields, he had to get his grades right at the JUCO level before he could get here. So got here late. It wasn't until late in the season that he felt like he was in decent football shape. And he really turned it on, as you mentioned, towards the end of the year. Former TCU Horned. And, man, it's scary with him having a full season now.
Devontae Fields on cue. Breaks it up. Started, as you mentioned, at TCU and then went to Trinity Valley Junior College before coming here to Louisville.
Good job. You're not going to get to that quarterback. You know, there's a reason why you're running free. They're letting you go back there to try to set up that screen. He motors down. He's not going to get to the quarterback. Foolishly go running back there, so he stops, gets up there and almost picked it off and got the first 6 points that didn't come off the hands of Lamar Jackson.
Hart sends it to the 35, a 37-yard punt. And pass was there. Our works carrying the load, and number 8 has certainly done that.
Matt, number 8's done it on the ground. He's done it through the air. Throwing a pass to James Quick. It'll be as pretty a ball thrown you'll see all year long in college football. And here we are on Thursday night. He's over there with the yellow towel. They need to get a new towel. They get too many penalties as it is. They need to get rid of all the yellow rags out there.
Kyle Bolin, the junior from Lexington. He started games last year for the Louisville Cardinals. Alan Jones is in. There is Kyle. Started 5 games. He was 11th in the ACC in touchdown passes a season ago. And his first career start was back in 2014 in Charlotte at the Belt Bowl against Georgia.
And it was Bolin that almost pulled the upset over Clemson. 3-2 as a starter last year in those 5 games he started.
Under pressure, And the pass.
That's a flag.
Intended for Devontae Pete is incomplete. And a flag is down on the play. You'll like this about Kyle Boland. Or maybe no.
Oh, I might have thrown him off down in the truck. I thought it should have been a flag. No, guys,
no
you
flag.
can't trust me. But you know, this is a well, okay, it's not a headshot, but still, it's unnecessary because the ball's well over his head, a defenseless player, and not targeting, but unnecessary.
Handoff to Malin Jones, running back.
Number 33, Malin Jones, the ball carrier.
Malin Jones.
Number 6, Nick Cook on the tackle.
Short of the first down.
Inman brings up 4th and 1.
Only the second punt of the evening for the Louisville Cardinals.
Number 10, Austin Duke. Back to receive the punt.
Mason King, a redshirt freshman, only his second punt attempt. He was a 3-year starter at St. Xavier here in Louisville. And Austin Duke, a fair catch and a 40-yard punt. He has to take over for Josh Appleby, the standout for the Cardinals. And he is gone now, and those duties left to Mason King. ACC football is brought to you by Works. Leaves are falling. It's Works season. Louisville Slugger here in Louisville, Kentucky. And you see the big bat downtown, home of Louisville Slugger. And they've been slugging away the Cardinals 56-0 as they lead here in the third quarter. Olsen underneath. And Justin Bolus with the catch, and it's going to be now second down. Number 49 typically wears number 15. You'll see there's no name on the back of that jersey. Every game the coaches decide on a 49er to wear the number 49, a player that exemplifies what they want out of this program. And this week it's Justin Bolus, and with more on that, here is Jen Hildreth.
Yeah, I thought Brad Lambert had a great quote about it. He said when he first got there and they didn't have any football games to play, we all sat around in a room and got creative, and they came up with this idea of the number 49 jersey as an honorary jersey to honor all of those things about guys who just did it the right way on and off the field. Larry Ogunjobi was the first to wear it. You mentioned Bolus. He has an incredible story of resilience and fighting back, and really sets a great example for this team.
Well, there's no question about it.
Number 2,
he has dealt with a lot of adversity. Justin Bolus fully beat South Carolina. Went to James Island High School. 5th-year senior. It's going to be 2nd and 3 now for the Niners. And an inside handoff and no place to go for Robert Washington. And he is stopped by Chris Williams, a junior college transfer, originally out of high school, signed with Ole Miss.
Well, Williams there, but time and time again, this Louisville defense on the short yardage situations, they've stiffened and gotten a big stop. This one going backwards. And what could have, should have been a 3rd down and short at least is now a 3rd down and 6. This Olsen and company would love to just get some points on the board. Get some small victories here. Careful the quarterback keep now.
Olsen. Flags are down. And Olsen throws it downfield, and it is caught and heading into the end zone.
Flag on the play.
There is a flag on the play.
Holding. Offense.
And it's on the offense. Holding. Zackrell, Wolfgang Zackrell from Raleigh, North Carolina, the 11th penalty, something that Brad Lambert talked to Jen Hildreth about, and so they'll bring that one back.
What did Brad Lambert say to Jen coming out of the halftime locker room? More of the same. Those penalties, not just a Louisville team, but you can't win football games. You can't make that next step as a program if you play sloppy football. You've got to play disciplined and crisp football at the very least. Like you said, hey, Lamar Jackson's tough to bring down. We can live with that. But mental errors and penalties, they can't.
Olsen fires it underneath. Close to a first down. And Robert Washington out of the backfield, and Stacey Thomas on the stop. Part of me is going to be fourth down. It was actually to the original line of scrimmage. I was getting ahead of myself there.
Stacey Thomas stepping in for spot James Burgess roamed last year. Burgess in that Music City Bowl with the big hit, and he was disqualified from the game on the first play. Almost blocked. Maybe got a piece, Matt.
There's Pete. And a flag is down. Pass will move out of the way. They've been busy tonight. Did not get a piece and ran right into
receiving team.
Arthur Hart.
5-yard penalty. First down.
Wow. I mean, it's good to see Hart pop back up, but that's dangerous. He hit him right on the knee, and obviously that's why it's there, to protect those kickers. Talk about defenseless. And good to see 40 pop back up.
Devontae Pete. With 9:27 remaining here in this third quarter, 56-0. And Kyle Boland heads out onto the field, and his second series of work. The officials.
How is that not an automatic first down? Let's
see. If there's any explanation here.
Penalties decline. First down.
Penalties decline. First down. First and 10 with 9:27 to go here in the third. Kyle Boland, second series, as I mentioned, but you'll like this. He's known as a very good singer, such as yourself. Actually, he might be just a little bit better.
I'm glad you noticed.
I tell you what, you got them all. Right across the middle, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Kedrick Davis, and then Davis is thrown down by Charles Stanberry.
And now he's singing, "If I Could Turn Back Time."
Yeah, see?
Little share, and thrown behind the receiver, able to get a hand on it, but just right into an easy pickings for Charlotte. So one way or another, they're going to get the ball back, and now here's an opportunity.
The defense comes up, and with the interception.
And these younger guys that are in there now, you better believe, as much as that offense wants to score points, they want to keep that goose egg up on the scoreboard on their side.
Out of the backfield, it's the true freshman, Ben LeMay. Their best field position to start for the Niners, and Jair Alexander comes in and makes a stop after a 15-yard gain.
Nice first play after the sudden change. Swing it out there to your young freshman that has so much promise.
So really, you went with "If I Could Turn Back Time" as Olsen? Really? Huh?
Man, if you don't know me by now, you will never ever know me.
Second down.
There's so many other choices, though.
Hey, Now you know how Wes feels. So tried to trick Louisville here a little bit. Nobody moved, and it wasn't there. And a good job by Olsen to just throw it away, because Louisville, they had it figured out, and they were coming hot. So they tried something, didn't work, but you live to play another down instead of throwing another pick.
Matt Johnson in, and he throws it to the end zone, and it's broken up by Ronald Walker. And Matt Johnson, I thought they'd catch him maybe.
Here we go. Here's Walker, and watch him. Look, oh, that's perfect. You don't want any separation, and it's a good job to almost come back and get it by T.L. Ford. But let's watch Walker here now from the other angle. Maybe a little bit of space, and you got to be careful with the hand. And guys too many times will peek in the backfield, but you watch those eyes of the receiver. When those eyes get big and when those hands go up, it's happening for a reason. Unfortunately, Walker's hurt a little bit here. But that's when, as a defensive back, as a linebacker, you snap that head around if you are in position, which getting there a little bit late. And some of these guys, like Lamar Jackson, will make you pay, but broke it up right there.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're talking about singing, and you reference Cher, and then you turn to me and say, "If You Don't Know Me By Now," which is another song, right? If you don't know me. But with more on all of this, let's go down to Jen.
Matt, you really don't know the can of worms. You just opened up, my friend, okay? I mean, you are poking the singing bear right now. All I know is I really wish I had started the pool that I was going to do before the game to see how long it would take James Bates to break into "I'm Sorry, Miss Jackson." And I believe it was the first touchdown by Lamar Jackson. I'm not sure.
It was, Jen. Thanks for noticing. I couldn't help it. Every time I hear Lamar Jackson, I say to myself, he is for real, though.
The Cardinals are for real. 56-0 here with 8:43 to go in the third. And the pass intended for Ben LeMay, and it's incomplete. It's going to be 4th and 10. And why not? Brad Lambert. They're down inside the 25. Kevin Olsen, 12 of 22, 93 yards. In his first FBS start. His career began at Miami, and then a brief time at Towson University, and then Riverside Community College to the end zone, and it's a touchdown. Austin Duke had 5 touchdowns a season ago, and Kevin Olsen feeling good. 24-yard strike, and the Olsen family here. A great catch, and what a great feeling for Kevin Olsen. And he put it right on the money.
See his dad there. His dad, Chris, he played for him in high school back in New Jersey all 4 years. Great high school coach up there in the Garden State. And good for these 49ers. Yeah. Something good going their way. They put a touchdown on the board, and we saw a beautiful touch pass thrown by Lamar Jackson wearing the red uniform. And here's Kevin Olsen getting involved as a 49er. Dropping it down to Austin Duke.
And he found Austin Duke in the back of the end zone. Some frustration early on, understandable. But he laid it right in there perfectly. He's 13 for 23, and you know that Todd Grantham, he wanted a shutout. The last time that Louisville defense pitched a shutout was against Florida International back in 2013, 72-0. Oh. And the ball falling off of the tee.
Strike one.
And they'll get set to do it one more time. Blake Brewer, the senior from just outside of Charlotte. And this one is going to be handled shy of the 15. And trying to cut back here to the near side, Seth Dawkins, and Dawkins all the way up to the 35, and a 19-yard return for the Cardinals. Next week, Tallahassee, 12:30 Eastern. Heisman Trophy hopeful Dalvin Cook and the 2016 Seminoles host Charleston Southern. And won't you join us? How about this? Clemson 2, Florida State is 4 under head coach Jimbo Fisher in August and September. The Noles are 21-3. James Bates and of course this is a Seminole team that will face Ole Miss for the first time since 1961 on Monday. Ole Miss won that game 33-0. Clemson this Saturday, they'll take on the Auburn Tigers. Last met back in 2012. Clemson won that one 26-19. And the ACC Player of the Year, always excited to see Deshaun Watson.
Oh, yeah. Boy, it really is going to be an exciting run in the ACC. You see it at 22. North Carolina in there as well. We haven't talked about them much. I mean, Mitch Matuski is an outstanding quarterback. He's got some big shoes to fill, but if anybody can do it, it's him in that offense. Elijah Hood to hand the ball off to. But in the Atlantic, on this side of the ACC, here are the top dogs. And maybe not getting a true test on exactly what you got in Louisville. With Charlotte a little bit just overmatched. But things are clicking, and you can tell that they have got some playmakers on both sides of the ball and are definitely a force to be reckoned with and getting better and better every year.
Malik Williams out of the backfield with the catch. Well, Clemson and Florida State are the only teams to win the ACC title over the last 5 years. Bobby Petrino wants to put an end to that. He certainly feels as though he has his best team since returning to Louisville heading into this season, and he talked about how comfortable he was from an offensive standpoint entering this season. You know how great their defense is, and you talk about being tested next week at Syracuse. Look, it's going to come in a hurry. September 17th, right here in front of 55,000 plus. It'll be standing room only when the Seminoles come to town. There's no question about that. Williams and a first down for the Cardinals, and here are their key games, not only for the Cardinals but then also, of course, all eyes potentially on that game October 29th with Clemson against Florida State. The Atlantic just so tough.
You find out early in the season what's going to happen in the Atlantic, and here in 2 weeks at high noon on Saturday is when the Seminoles come to town.
It's interesting, we talked about the 0-3 start as that pass is caught and down to the 11-yard line. And it's going to be 1st and 10. Charles Stanberry with the reception, a 14-yard pickup. And talking to Bobby Petrino, he said that the turnaround last year, it was on the road at North Carolina State in Raleigh, getting that win. He really felt that was the key to the season.
Well, and it was on the heels of a heartbreaking loss to Clemson, on the heels of an 0-3 start, and being down at NC State, and then to come back rally against a good Wolfpack team. This was thrown out of the back of the end zone on first down. It'll be 2nd and 10, but that shows a lot of character, and it shows a lot of leadership. And a lot of those leaders are still here. The residual effect of some of those guys continues on. And you don't just get that done with a coaching staff that's yelling at these guys, hey, we got to turn it around. That comes from within. That comes from the locker room, and that comes from leadership. And you talked about that run throughout the night that they had to end the season, capped off with a nice win in the Music City Bowl over Texas A&M. Come from behind win over Kentucky as well.
Williams is cut down in the backfield.
Toss to number 29.
And Daquan Lucas is there.
24. Daquan Lucas with the stop.
13 different receivers have
3rd and 12.
caught a ball tonight. You had Lamar Jackson in the first half putting up big-time numbers, 17-23 through the air, 286 yards, 6 touchdown passes. On the ground, 11 carries for 119 yards and 2 touchdown passes. And throwing underneath, and the pass is caught by Travion Samuel into the end zone. The Ville once again, an 18-yard touchdown strike. (62-7).
Another guy to check it off on that get it to list. Look at the big wall. Those big guys coming to lead the way. Other side as well. Samuel, 5'7", little big man. Boy, he's got some go to him. He can really move. We saw a lot of plays from him last year as a freshman. Another guy getting involved.
Yep, Bonnafon has a touchdown reception. Scott has one. Samuel has one. Hikutini. The list goes on, including Quick and Smith and Radcliff. ACC kickoff. And what a night for the Cardinals, as they lead 63-7 with 4:43 left here in the third. 19th ranked Cardinals. And offense getting it done. The defense shut out the 49ers in the first half. Nate Mullen is back along with Chris Montgomery. And it's going to be taken by Montgomery at the 1, up to the 15, and then stopped. A hard hit by pass. They're shy of the 20. And let's take a look at the Z-Max performance play. Lamar Jackson.
A lot of ball going on tonight. A lot of ball this weekend, Matt. But I don't know that you'll see a prettier throw and catch than this one. Watch James Quick in the touch. Putting it with the only spot on the field where Lamar Jackson, where he can put it, for his receiver to come up with the play and fighting to the very end. And that's one thing with Lamar Jackson at the helm that these receivers have had to learn to do, because he can throw such a long ball with such a nice touch on it. They've had to learn to go until the whistle, and fighting to the whistle there was Quick.
He was second a season ago in voting for the ACC Offensive Rookie of the Year. Lamar Jackson, he was the team's leading rusher and passer. A QB school record of 960 yards on the ground, 11 TDs in the air. He threw for better than 1,800 yards, 12 touchdowns. In the spring game, he had all kinds of fun. Defensive penalty.
Unabated to the quarterback, 5-yard penalty.
G.G. Robinson, the redshirt freshman. In the spring game, Lamar Jackson was 24-29 for 519 yards and 8 touchdowns. And it's kind of close to the numbers he's put up here this evening. And the opener, the 20th penalty of the night. And this is the first meeting between these two teams. These two schools have met before in basketball. And that goes back to the old Metro Conference. And you think about what the administration here, James, at Louisville has done, along with Tom Jurich, the athletics director. They have just done an outstanding job. Now in the ACC, of course, Conference USA, and then the Big East and on to the ACC. They have the facilities. They have the coaches. They've just done an outstanding job.
Well, and you've got a great athletic director. You've got a passionate fan base, and a fan base that wants to be a part of this success that they're building here in town. I mean, this beautiful stadium, it's as good a venue as you'll find in college football. You go down the street, in every single complex, soccer, softball, baseball, on and on and on. Incomplete pass here, bring up second down. But I mean, it's perfect. Every single facility, if you want, for a student athlete to come and to be their best. You know, shoot, I haven't even seen the pool, but I probably should go see it. I got to take care of those swimmers. Kelsey Worrell It was a Louisville Cardinal, an NCAA record holder, champion, an American record holder. She won a gold in Rio, had an outstanding Olympic trials swim meet. They honored her here earlier tonight.
Right behind us, just a few blocks away, of course, Churchill Downs, and in between Papa John's Cardinal Stadium and Churchill Downs as that pass is complete. And close to a first down, and quite possibly a first down. Jawan Foggy on the reception is the baseball facility. They'll get 6,000 out for the baseball team here, coached by Dan McDonough. Has done an outstanding job since taking over here in Louisville, leading them to 3 College World Series. On the road to Omaha, and spent some time yesterday with him and just talked so much about the great leadership here at this institution with Tom Jurgen, of course, and the support that the athletic director has for his coaches.
Matt, watch here. Watch Alexander fight to get outside. Fight to get outside. There you see holding him a little bit was the tight end. But that's good coaching. This late in the game, you think guys letting their guards down because he's got to stay outside. He's the last line of defense on the outside. All of his buddies, 10 guys wearing white hats, are coming to help him out. If he lets that guy, if he loses that battle to that receiver and lets that guy get outside of him, it's a big gainer and maybe even a touchdown. And it may seem like little things, but guys knowing their jobs, guys knowing the position and how they fit into this defense and the angles, the vice angles, to hem these guys up is one thing that'll make you one of the best defenses in the land over and over. There's a look at Jair Alexander. Good job by the corner. Didn't make the tackle, but he might as well get a credit there in the stats column.
First down, 1st and 10 now for the 49ers. Here's Olsen. Olsen on the run, being tracked down by Chris Williams, chasing him out of the pocket, and then also Thomas racing over, and another penalty flag is down.
See if we can see her here at the end. Olsen's got to put that ball on the outside arm. Be careful carrying it.
Offense. Number 2, taunting, 15-yard penalty.
So Kevin Olsen with a taunting penalty, the 12th penalty for Brad Lambert's team. Next week they'll take on Elon, an FCS school, and then they'll take on a Mid-American Conference team in Eastern Michigan. And both schools have struggled in
the down is second down.
Second down. Twelfth penalty, as I mentioned, 100-plus yards. And then for the 49ers, they'll head to Philadelphia to take on Temple. And the pass intended for the receiver there sails over his head. That was the 8th play, their longest drive. And R.J. Tyler third and 23 now.
You don't see a ton of taunting penalties.
No.
You're down 63-7. Create this big distance, trying to get it with a draw here, just to chip away at it a little bit. There's a helmet that comes off. No flag.
Stacy Thomas and a Robert
number 32
Washington
lead the game for one play. Number 32.
You see Robert Washington with the stiff arm and the helmet coming off.
He had a good strong jaw. He never lost his helmet. He was holding on to it with his mouthpiece, and finally he spits it out. One time against Florida State, I locked up with a big 315-pounder, and our helmets got like locked on the face mask, and couldn't separate them. As a smaller linebacker, you gotta kind of stick and move and get a little shock and use your hands and get out of there. Needless to say, big guy's going to win when you're dancing with him for over about 5 seconds.
Robert Washington is down.
You don't like to see this. They all speak so highly of Washington and LeMay. Uriah LeMay's little brother, who started at Georgia, then finished up last year at Charlotte. Two guys that are really, really high on, and just to create some depth, which is something that they didn't have a year ago. A year ago, they seemed to run out of juice late in these games.
Watch the left ankle.
Yeah. Well.
5 carries for 33 yards. As we mentioned, he originally committed to Syracuse and then decided to change his mind. And the first 4-star recruit to sign with the 49ers. Pass, the redshirt freshman from Columbus, Georgia. Kane pass was the one that was on the tackle. Hart's been busy tonight, the punter. And Alexander loses it, tries to get up to the 15 before he is wrestled down. And a 36-yard punt, and you see Brad Lambert talking to Kevin Olsen. It's 63-7. A tough one here for Brad Lambert. 32 seconds left in the third. And of course, you think about Jim Grobe, of course, now at Baylor, and so many connections with Wake Forest.
Yeah, how about that? They, spent 10 years, Brad Lambert did, under Jim Grobe, part of those teams. And, even Wake Forest fans, college football fans can get spoiled in a hurry, can't they? And the success that Jim Grobe and guys like Brad Lambert, his staff, that they had at Wake Forest is just, it's unbelievable.
Well, you think back to Riley Skinner and the run that they had, and I think one of the things, in talking to Brad Lambert, that he certainly learned, and I mentioned this earlier about an old football team is a good football team, and you redshirt, and that's certainly something that Jim Grobe at a place like Wake Forest, he did as the third quarter will come to an end.
And had a winning record against the Florida State Seminoles at Wake. He's got his son on this staff as well, Ben Grobe.
Yeah, it was good to visit with the Ben before the start of this game. 63-7, 19th ranked Louisville Cardinals. And with a quarter to go here on opening night, the ACC kickoff.
Double meet.
The game summary, 63-7 through 3 quarters of action. Passing yards, 342 on the ground, closing in on 200.
Third downs. Not one third down conversion for Charlotte here tonight. Back to Bolin in the offense for Louisville now. And Matt Bolin's a guy that, writing on the wall. Here comes Lamar Jackson. It's going to be his show. Everybody's high on, as it should be. We saw that. Bolin obviously had a chance to go somewhere else and play a little football, but he said, you know what, I committed to Louisville. I've always wanted to play at Louisville, and here I am, and I'm going to finish it up here. And, oh, by the way, he wants to coach football one day, and who better to learn under than the man over on the sidelines, Bobby Petrino. So,
well, look, you can't argue with Lamar Jackson, and Kyle Bolin last year certainly had his opportunities, whether he was against Syracuse and then some struggles, UVA. But Lamar Jackson, a legit dual threat. And outside of Deshaun Watson in the ACC, what other quarterback would you like to watch? I think you think of Deshaun, and then I think it's Lamar.
Well, and you know what's interesting about these two guys is Deshaun Watson. We'll let this play go here.
Bolin with time, and a wide open is Javonte Bagley.
They have some similarities. They're both, dual threat guys that just worry a defensive coordinator, a defense, give them fits. But they're very different in the sense that Deshaun Watson, he grew up around the Falcons training camp. He grew up around football. So he had a lot of football knowledge coming in. And Lamar Jackson, he was as raw as can be last year when he was thrown into the mix. He said it was like they were speaking a foreign language.
Yep.
he never really had to learn a playbook and learn all these plays. It was just like, hey, go this way. And last year he really had one check, but that's not the way Bobby Petrino operates. I mean, he is a tough guy to be a quarterback for. He demands a lot, and he has been patient with Lamar Jackson. But here in this offseason, they fired it up. And now the fact that he understands what it takes to be a college quarterback at a big-time program, he is as dangerous as anybody, including guys like Deshaun Watson.
Another penalty marker. No penalty marker. I think they're just looking at the clock.
While we're talking about these ACC quarterbacks, a gentleman on Twitter.
The play clock is no longer working. The back judge will keep the play clock.
Okay, there you go. The plaque. Yeah,
I called
play clock is not working.
North Carolina's quarterback Matuski instead of Trubisky earlier, and someone nice enough to point that out to me, so I appreciate it.
Dancing along the sideline is Malin Jones. And it's interesting in talking to Bobby Petrino. He said last year with Lamar Jackson, he said the response of Lamar when he looked at the offensive playbook was, wow, we carry this much offense. And of course, as you mentioned, they did a great job of just moving them along. And Bobby Petrino said, he goes, we feel we have a responsibility to help players get to that next level. And so he said, we will call plays to get him involved into what he needs to get into to help him along the way in his quarterback career. And he can certainly dazzle. There's no question about it. And the Syracuse Orange are going to have their hands full next week. There's no question.
What is everybody on this team? Jen, do they all bring their own towels from home? All these different colored bath towels, it looks like, down there.
2nd and 5.
I don't know what's going on with the towels. That is kind of funny. I will dig into that. That will be my investigative journalism piece for the next time we come here, okay?
All right.
And that's, of course, James, the one that was looking over there thinking, okay, yellow and green. What's the significance behind it? Or is there any significance behind it?
We've got a lot of changes of uniforms, and we put all of our money into that. You're going to need to bring your own towels from home if you want to stay dry.
No, maybe you have an offense is green, is yellow, and the D is green. Maybe. See, you got the green over there, and then there's a blue there as well. There's a significance. There's no question about it, and I'm sure somebody will let us know what that may be. 1st and 10 on a handoff, and down to the 11-yard line. It's Malik Williams. Here's our Honda Generators power play. Lamar Jackson. Say it with me, James. Lamar Jackson.
I am for real. There you go, Jen. And through the air and on the ground as well. And the power blocking of that big offensive line, paving the way for him so many times. And when you get things clicking, you get a ground game going. Radcliff, Scott, and Smith all pounded behind that offensive line. Then everything seems to work. Play action, pass.
Boland underneath, and the pass is caught by Seth Dawkins. Dawkins reaching for the end zone. Is it a touchdown? Yes! The true freshman out of Franklin Heights High School in Columbus, Ohio, with the touchdown.
Great job of walking that tightrope. It's absolutely a touchdown as you see the ball hit the pylon. Boom, he's in. Nice effort for the young man.
8 different receivers have scored a touchdown. They've used 16 different receivers, spreading it around, and everybody sharing in the wealth, putting up big numbers. 70-7.
It's the final days of the
ACC football is brought to you by Ford, by Honda Generators, and by TIAA. See how we're a different kind of financial company at TIAA. Welcome back to Louisville, Kentucky, and home to the 19th ranked Cardinals. And moments ago, how about this work by the true freshman Dawkins?
Well, it just shows you the depth that's out there. I mean, all the guys that have touched the ball, and when we haven't even called a few of the good tight ends names, and he knows, hey, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to play hard, I'm going to block hard, get my hands on the ball, and make something happen. You better, if you want to get it on that get it to list these coaches have on their game plan, right?
It's a long list, isn't it?
I guess so. After this game, everybody
get it to everyone. And Chris Montgomery's going to handle it and gets upended prior to reaching the 20-yard line. Iacopo, London Iacopo, out of Carson, California. Went to Long Beach Community College, a junior. They really like him. And talking to Todd Grantham, how tough he is. Iacopo able to upend the ball carrier there, Chris Montgomery. And so Kevin Olsen, his first FBS start. And next week he'll see Elon now on a handoff, and no place to go for the 49ers and their freshman running back Ben LeMay. Rushed for better than 4,000 yards in his career at Butler, a great high school there in the Charlotte area. 74 touchdowns in his career. Along with Independence, they've produced some great players in the Charlotte area. And they'll swing it to the outside. And a pickup there, Austin Duke, who caught the only touchdown for the 49ers. And Matt Johnson was in there at quarterback. And he's going to remain in. Johnson going to keep it himself, and no place to go. Stacy Thomas wraps him up and brings him down. Look, you're going to look at this game and say, well, they gave up 7, and the defense, 49ers, struggling offensive. This defense over the last 2 seasons under Todd Grantham, they forced 56 turnovers, 43 interceptions. Only Boise State has more interceptions over the last 2 years. And that's just by 1. They have been a dominant defense. They're aggressive, and they get after you.
And right on cue, here's Isaac Stewart with a nice little pop on the ground. But you're absolutely right. And the reason is, it's because, like we saw a few plays ago, Jair Alexander, it's because it's a disciplined bunch. So it allows, it's a very versatile and athletic bunch, but also disciplined. So Todd Grantham, he can afford to roll the dice. He can afford to put pressures on these quarterbacks, and that's where it all starts. That's where the interceptions start, is up front with the pressure, forcing quarterbacks to make bad throws. We saw that the forced fumble on the sack earlier coming out from Olsen.
Incomplete pass is going to be 4th and 6 now for the 49ers. 8:02 left here in the 4th quarter. A defense that returned 7 starters. A team that returned 17. Hart. And a fair catch is called by pass. 70-7.
Introducing.
And now the first pass. And it's intercepted on the far sideline. Picked off. And it'll be in for a touchdown. So the first touchdown in 49ers football history is at 12:10 p.m. on Saturday, August 31st.
Mark Hogan with the first touchdown, and now a part of the staff for Brad Lambert. He's a graduate assistant coach. Is Mark Hogan, and of course they're building this program. Brad Lambert in his 4th year at Charlotte, and he's been there since the beginning. And we talked about his connection to Jim Grove and Wake Forest. There's also a connection on the Louisville side. The co-offensive coordinator Lonnie Galloway in his first year here, coming over from West Virginia. Well, back in 2011 and 2012, he was the Wake Forest passing game coordinator. And so there's a lot of connections there to Jim Grove and Wake. PJ It's 70-7. A new quarterback in. Horton is the new quarterback. And Horton, the third quarterback used tonight, not on the roster that we have here in the booth. We got to go deep into the books here. 70-7. And the ball is on the ground. Did the 49ers come up with it? And Fleming is there. Ethan Horton is the quarterback. Third quarterback used. And here is the fumble.
Thought initially it was coming from that center, up under center, but it was on the handoff. Fleming able to get down on it. You know, that's one thing back to Lamar Jackson, that he never really took snaps from under center. Another thing, Bobby Petrino has been very impressed with his quarterback, because there are times when a run play or a play action pass, it's a lot better when it comes from under center, as opposed to where you get some of the pistol look. And here's a new guy in for the 49ers as well.
Hassan Klug, the redshirt sophomore, and he is dragged down. A transfer from North Carolina A&T. So Ethan Horton, the quarterback for the Cardinals. And now here is Hassan Klug, third quarterback used for the 49ers. And 6 minutes remaining here in this opener for the 49ers. Next week, Elon, as I mentioned, and he'll throw underneath. And it's to Ben LeMay, and LeMay turns it back up inside. Stacy Thomas. And Louisville will get ready for the Syracuse Orange, and then Florida State, and then some tough ones at Marshall on the road. Start the week before Florida State, and then at Marshall, at Clemson, before returning home to take on Duke for the first time since 2002 on October 14th. There is Klug. Went to Central Cabarrus High School, and as I mentioned, started at North Carolina A&T, and another penalty marker down.
False start. Offense. Number 60. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
So Klug from Concord, North Carolina. No, it's Concord, New Hampshire, and Concord, California, but it's Concord, North Carolina. And you know who's from up there? Concord, New Hampshire. There have only been 2 basketball players, NBA basketball players, ever from the great state. Matt Bonner, that's right. And Matt Bonner's one of them.
I knew you'd bring up a Gator. I knew somewhere in a 70-7 game you'd wheel this thing around.
See, you brought that up. I was just bringing up a Raptor.
Oh, really?
Really? And there is a stop by Chris Williams. And they are high on the junior from Atlanta, 3-down player. He was a mid-year JUCO transfer. And the time is ticking away, 4:20 now. It is 70-7. Close to 55,000 here tonight in Louisville. Not many left. And big-time offensive performance tonight by Bobby Petrino's team, and then also their defense has been all over the Niners. And that one was touched by the Cardinals, and then going into the end zone, and the Niners recover it, and it's a touchdown. And Bobby Petrino's not going to be happy with this one. It's one of those you stay away from it. It was recovered by the 49ers. Pass, you see him waving for a fair catch, and then still racing, and it's off of his fingertips and bouncing into the end zone. And then sliding.
On the field of a touchdown. It's under further review.
Well, is Anthony Covington. It's under review.
On his behalf, you put those heels. You're taught to put those heels on the 10. And if the ball is going to come and you're going to have a chance to fair catch it, put up that fair catch signal. You do just that because you don't want to get pinned there on your own goal line. But it was such an awkward angle, and he had to go so far. You're right. At that point, he probably should have just bailed on it. But trying to do as he's coached, but looks like Charlotte.
Ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
Yeah, it's a touchdown.
They'll take it any way they can get it. Points tough to come by for the guys from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Number 5, number 69, Stephen Muscarello.
70-13, and now another yellow flag is down.
Legal substitution, defense. 12 players on the field. Half the distance to the goal. Replay the try.
(70-13). Trying to make it 14 here with 3:46 to go. 19th ranked Louisville Cardinals. They've been in control throughout. And the 49ers coming away with the touchdown here on special teams. Anthony Covington wanted it.
Come into Captain D's for a variety of fresh
ACC kickoff here on this Thursday night. And from around the ACC, Wake Forest 7-3 over the Green Wave of Tulane, spoiling Willie Fritz's debut as the head football coach at Tulane, coming over from Georgia Southern, and then Dave Doran at North Carolina State, the Wolfpack handling the Tribe of William and Mary 41-14. That is in the fourth quarter.
Number 86, Blake Brewer.
Blake Brewer to kick off here, 70-14 with 3:46 left.
Williams.
Well, and those Tennessee Volunteers, they may have been looking ahead to the big one in Bristol next week against Virginia Tech. They're tied with App State with 8.5 minutes to go at 13.
Dawkins at the 22, spun around and brought down by a pack of 49ers. And yeah, how about Tennessee? And of course, you think about App State early on in the season, you go back to victory up in Ann Arbor at the Big House and what they did against Michigan, but that was some time ago. And wouldn't it be some for them against the Vols, the Rocky Top? 3:36 left here. Now this Thursday night, 19th ranked Cardinals up big.
Hi, Heineken Light makes it okay.
70-14 with 3:36 remaining here in Louisville. ACC kickoff here on this Thursday night. And Ethan Horton, the quarterback for the Louisville Cardinals. And I think Bobby Petrino, safe to say that he feels a lot better about this offense than from a season ago. Malik Williams on the carry, and Wilson, North Carolina, the junior.
Number 30, Darius Irvin.
Bobby Petrino certainly knew that he had the defense and was very comfortable with Lamar Jackson. And they have so many weapons. I look forward to seeing this Cardinals team as the season progresses, but specifically, you know that here in Louisville, they're not thinking about Syracuse. They're thinking about the Knowles.
Well, the fans might be.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. But those kids, and the thing is, it wasn't like, even though it was a 70-14 big lopsided win for Bobby Petrino's troops, there's a lot to coach off of. There's a lot to clean up. And it may not look like it when you see a 70-14 final, but there is a lot of stuff that they need to improve on if they want to go on the road and not come back with an upset before they get those Seminoles. That's first things first, and said it earlier. The Carrier Dome, so many teams have found out the hard way. It is a very tough place to play. It's just a different atmosphere, and you've got a lot of excitement up there right now with the new coach Dino Babers.
Since the start of 2011, Clemson and Florida State are combined 34-6.
2 yards
in the conference. And so, if you look around this league, I think people look here in Louisville, and I think they also look down in North Carolina and Chapel Hill as a couple of teams that maybe could battle for that top spot in the ACC, but certainly all signs lead to Clemson and Florida State,
Jones, the ball carrier.
and when they meet up on August 29th. But a lot of football between now and then, and you see the 64th season of the ACC, 2 teams ranked in the top 5 to begin the season for the first time in ACC history. Teams will face 27 games against non-conference 2015 bowl teams, and 15 of the top 18 rushers return among the winningest active coaches there. And exciting times in the ACC. There's no question about it with respect to the football and being played. And I know a lot of people think that it's top heavy with Clemson and Florida State, but don't forget about Louisville. That is for sure. And Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson.
I am for real.
He put on a show just like you. 17-23, 286 yards, 6 touchdown passes. On the ground, he ran for 2 TDs and 119 yards. Accounted for 8 touchdowns, and what a night for Bobby Petrino and the Cardinals. They will start 1-0 on the season. The 49ers will fall to 0-1, and they'll face Elon, as I mentioned, next week. But certainly a productive night for Louisville, and a tough night for Brad Lambert and his 49ers as they continue to build that program. And you know it takes time, and he understands that. There's no question about it. As he falls to Louisville, 70-14. 19th ranked Cardinals victorious here on a Thursday night in Louisville, Kentucky. And we'll be back with more right after this. '19th ranked Louisville Cardinals come away with the victory here on the ACC kickoff, 70-14 over the Charlotte 49ers in their 4th year of playing football, second in the FBS. Next Saturday, Charleston Southern will take on the 4th-ranked Florida State Seminoles at 12:30 Eastern. Check your local listings. You'll definitely want to check out Lamar Jackson through the course of the season for the Louisville Cardinals. Dynamic. Accounted for 8 touchdowns. Jackson and the Cardinals win big. Good night, everyone.